Wild fans, this is your season. You can experience the energy, the goals, the unforgettable moments at Grand Casino Arena. Get your tickets now, including the Wild Jets, January 15th. Wild.com/tickets. Cheer on the Wild this season. Wild.com/tickets.
We mentioned today is our dear friend Ben Gessling's birthday. He's a scribe. Likewise for Dan Weiderer, who we've known for quite some time. Dan covers the Bears for The Athletic and theathletic.com. Yours truly has been a subscriber since day number one and absolutely loves The Athletic. And with the Bears advancing, we figured we'd do a covenant catch-up here with Dan Weiderer covering the Bears for The Athletic. And here he is. Dan, Paul Allen, how you doing, my brother?
PA, I'm great. How you been?
Right on, bud. And thanks for the time, too, because I just, well, believe it or not, I know how playoff weeks work. And so therefore I know you got slings and arrows coming at you left and right. And that's really, really nice that you took time to do this. So let's start here. Chicago, what's the second city like when the Bears are good?
In a word, electric. And it's been this way probably since mid-October of this season. And I know from afar you've watched the number of different ways that this team has found to create magic in late game situations and create this run that they've been on, to have these 2 wins in 3 weeks against the Packers in the dramatic fashion that they had them in prime time at Soldier Field under the lights by the lakefront. You can't even describe how much energy has been in that building for those particular wins. And this is just a town that's starving for this. I can tell you this. I've been covering the league now, as you well know, for 15 plus years. And that was the first playoff win I've covered for either the Vikings or the Bears on Saturday night.
So was your first playoff game that you covered Vikings Packers at Lambeau after 2012?
It sure was. The Joe Webb start, the surprise Joe Webb start. We all remember that well, don't we?
Yeah, and Bill Musgrave was the offensive coordinator. They're going to run the Wildcat, the single wing, and they bust down the field with Joe Webb. They get a field goal out of it, and we don't see what they called the blazer the rest of the game. So at least they gave you some good fodder from back in the day when you covered that game, man. Vivid memories from 2012. Now, with your Monday story at The Athletic, theathletic.com, how far in the head of Matt LaFleur is Ben Johnson, who has set the storied rivalry ablaze?
Ablaze. That's a great way to put it, because he did it on day one when he was hired. He's continued to, kind of kick at that hornet's nest because he feels like it is the right thing to do and it's the natural thing for him to do. And it feels like that it is revived some of that animosity that had been missing for so long in this rivalry. And it had been missing in large part because the Bears weren't good and they weren't competitive. And now Saturday's win over the Packers at Soldier Field was their 3rd win in the rivalry in the last 370 days. Prior to that, you would have had to go back to 2013 to find 3 Bears victories over the Packers. And so they have gotten good again, and they have been able to land some punches against the rivals up north, and certainly Ben taking some swings at Matt LaFleur has added to the color of the whole thing.
Now, Caleb never takes sacks. The quarterback never takes sacks. I mean, he was sacked 1 time in the weekend's game. And sure, they absolutely helped with the middle of the O-line. I mean, the Tooney addition is immortality-like, but Caleb deserves credit here too, in my opinion. How have they accomplished so much so quickly with Caleb Williams and preventing those sacks, Dan?
Well, what's amazing, PA, is that he took 68 sacks as a rookie, and that total came down to 24 in year 2. I mean, that is a ridiculous decrease in the amount of times that you're winding up on the ground. Without question, stabilizing the interior of that offensive line provided comfort for the quarterback. It provided him an understanding that he was going to be well protected on most plays. And then Caleb's just got a really great feel. I know you've experienced it live and in person where you think he's dead to rights, and a split second before he's about to get hit, he finds a way to dodge that initial hit and then has such great athleticism to escape and get out on the move. And he's faster than a lot of guys think. And the next thing you know, he's creating a scramble and throw opportunity. And now, early on in the season, they weren't connecting on a lot of the scramble and throw opportunities. It was scramble and incomplete. Now, as we saw in legendary fashion on Saturday night on 4th and 8, it's scramble, throw, hit a huge play that changes the season, that changes the way everybody looks at your team and your quarterback. And so this is a huge step in the development of this young quarterback.
You're an elite football mind. Hopefully you appreciate this comparison, this analogy. When the Bears beat the Vikings at US Bank Stadium, the game where Duvernay had that nice kick return to basically end the Viking season, I found myself with I'm calling the game with Bursich. I found myself referencing Caleb Williams being like, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. He's the toughest guy to bring down since Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, it's off what you just said. I mean, he's slippery, yes, but he's just so country strong that I think he's the toughest guy to bring down since Big Ben. What do you think?
He's very sturdy, and you're not going to bring him down with just a glancing blow. Like, you're going to have to earn your takedowns to Caleb Williams, and it's been impressive to watch. And so, look, like, there's a long way to go to reach the top tier of quarterback play in this league. And what I tell people all the time is, these flash seasons are really impressive, but there's a psychological stamina required to repeat it, to be able to sustain the success you've had. He's got the right coach working with him right now, and the bond that they've been able to create over the last 5 months has been really impressive. There's a long way to go here, and I think everybody in this city and in that building have to realize that you can never exhale in this league. Otherwise, the next thing you know, you're 6-11 on the outside of the playoffs looking in and trying to figure out where it all went wrong. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what steps they try to take in 2026 whenever this 2025 run ends.
Dan Weiderer used to cover the Minnesota Vikings in this market, covers the Chicago Bears now for The Athletic and theathletic.com. What do you think of Montez Sweat? I mean, sometimes he looks super easy to stop, and other times he's a menacing presence.
Really nice game on Saturday night. If the Bears could get that on a more regular basis, they would be getting the return on investment in the contract that they deserve,
right,
for the investment that they made in him after trading for him a couple years ago and giving him an extension. Really good player. You want to see him take that next step to becoming great, because that's going to be what ultimately unlocks new worlds for you when you can get a pass rush more effective than this one has been this season. It's a reason that they might get beat this weekend against the Rams, because you've got a very veteran quarterback capable of getting the football out quickly, and you don't have a pass rush that's proven anything this season. And so you would like the engine of that pass rush to produce a little more. Then again, on Saturday night against the Packers, he gave you enough to create that second half disruption on Jordan Love that allowed you to get back in the football game. And so you just want to see that type of performance and production more regularly.
Shoot, Dan, what in the heck do they do at left tackle? I mean, with Trapilo hurt and done, and and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the steam with the rookie during the season when they used Benedette at left tackle was that he's a right tackle, and they really, 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 really don't want to use him at left tackle. But eventually they did. Maybe he was okay, maybe he wasn't, but now he's done. So what are they going to do at left tackle?
Yeah, well, Theo Benedette's got experience there. He's a guy that has earned his way into the opportunity that he has, and he's played well in flashes. He's still inexperienced. He's still got a long way to go. And so you just have to acknowledge that with your game plan and the way you set yourself up for success, and understanding who you have on that side of the line. And you have to give help over there. You've got to use tight ends. You've got to, design plays to take account of that. And then you just try to survive. And they've survived there all year. They've started 3 guys at left tackle throughout the entire season and really haven't missed a beat offensively. It's a credit to who Ben is as an offensive mind. I have been absolutely dumbfounded at how much production he has gotten out of this offense in season 1 here. And you can only imagine and envision what the future can be once he really starts to get this thing to hit stride. And so when you have that type of elite coaching acumen on your side, you feel better about being able to withstand some of these key injuries at key positions.
Is Colston Loveland the best Bears tight end since Greg Olsen or maybe Mike Ditka?
Yeah, maybe the coach. I honestly, these last 5, 6, 7 games, I really feel, and I don't use this very lightly, I feel like a star has been born in front of our eyes. And you see, again, it's the chemistry with Caleb, and then it's the chemistry with Caleb and Ben, right? Like, you have the opportunity as a young tight end to work with a quarterback who's really gifted, an offensive play caller who really understands how to utilize the strengths of his playmakers. And the future seems unlimited for Colston Loveland. To do what he did on that stage Saturday night, to really single-handedly lift that offense for a long stretch of that game, it's a huge deal. And they feel like he's barely scratching the surface. He didn't practice during the spring, was, just getting back into the flow of things in training camp after shoulder surgery last winter. And now you see the results and sort of the dividends that are being paid for the way this kid works. It's unbelievable to think about what he can be in this offense for the next 10 years, really.
Permit me to, with the penultimate, to present the only Kyler Gordon question you'll get all week. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think he's important. He should be better this next one, right? Now that he got he got that last one under his belt off the layoff.
We'll see. In and out, in and out, in and out. That's been the story of Kyler Gordon's season. He's had 3 different injuries, put him down for extended periods of time. And so that was the first game back on Saturday. You could tell there was some rust. You could tell there were some conditioning issues. He can be a weapon for Dennis Allen because you can use him in a lot of different ways. You can use him as a blitzer. You can, rely on him to be capable of helping your run defense from the slot. And so he's a guy that at full strength you feel great about. We just haven't seen him at full strength at any point this season, and so it's really kind of a leap of faith going into Sunday to know what you're going to get out of him, and get out of him against a Rams offense that's got playmakers. I mean, with Devontae and Puka Nacua, the Bears have their hands full without a reliable pass rush of trying to take these guys and slow them down, and we'll see what they come up with. All
right, last one for Dan Weiderer, The Athletic, theathletic.com. Ooh, this next one's a doozy. From a quarterback in Jordan Love, who keeps melting in the biggest of moments, to Stafford, who's heading to the Hall of Fame. I mean, what a wonderful game you get to cover this weekend, right?
It's amazing, and it's foreign territory for us in Chicago to be back in this round of the playoffs and to see the Bears have an opportunity to go ahead and try to take their big swings at it's Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, and it's Puka and it's Devontae, and so you've got your hands full. We've seen Stafford a lot over the years here in Chicago, obviously being in the division. You see the level that he's playing at right now. You see how clutch he's been. Caleb Williams admires Matthew Stafford and has admired him for a long, long time. And so, PA, just you and I talking here, and nobody's listening. I know. I think this might be the exit ramp for the Bears season. I think this might be where the year ends in big part because of what that Rams offense can do with Stafford at the helm.
Rams favored by 3.5. I wouldn't argue with you on that. Dan, you're the bomb, and seems like things with The Athletic are going very smoothly now that the transition is several months into it. You do great work. Fantastic writer, my brother, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Always love catching up.
See ya. Dan Weiderer covers the Chicago Bears for The Athletic and theathletic.com. So what that was the less than ballyhooed, under-publicized, not utilized enough 8th stage of Gridiron Grief, Double B. What that was is acceptance and the turning of the other cheek and learning to love one another when they're talking about you. When you feel like it's one of those deals where it's like, do you guys even know I'm here? I mean, can't you guys are talking about the love that I lost. Do you have any idea that I'm here listening to this entire thing? Well, the turning of the cheek, the loving of one another, the acceptance of that part when people are talking significant bleep about the love you just lost, that is the less than ballyhooed, underutilized 8th stage of overcoming gridiron grief. And I noticed right when we got into the conversation, what happened? You immediately left the room. You were gone for like 7 minutes. You're like, Paul never does 7-minute interviews. This is going to be 10 to 15. So I'm getting out of here, hopefully off what we handled an hour and 20 minutes ago with the 7 stages of gridiron grief and helping you through the dearly beloved, the death of a loved one, your beloved Green Bay Packers. Hopefully that first 23 and a half minutes helped you in a way that when you left for about 6 minutes because you just couldn't take it, and I understand. Hopefully you didn't lash out at any of the account executives or Nick Madden or Kara for never including you in any of those social media bits, like New Year's resolutions and what are you going to do for the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. Did it help?
I think I got it out.
You didn't lash out, did you?
I made it back, thankfully, in time for the massive stray Jordan Love took. I did make it back in time for that.
Who offered the stray? Me or it was me? Oh, that's right. It wasn't Dan Weiderer. That was me, wasn't it? How was that framed up there?
From Jordan Love, who always melts in the big moments, to Matt Stafford. That's a shot across the border bow if I've ever seen one. That's all right.
Can you dispute what I'm saying? The way it was crafted was, this next one is a doozy. From a quarterback in Jordan Love who keeps melting in the biggest of moments to Stafford, who's heading to the Hall of Fame. H-O-F. What a wonderful game you get to cover this weekend, right, Dan?
Man.
See, we're laughing. We're laughing like kids at a time. Oh, man, holy cow, was evil working on you over the course of the last 3 days.
Boy.
The love you lost on Saturday night. I mean, you're tearing down account executives, social media members, your girlfriend, family members on Sunday. And then Monday, I got no idea what you were doing. And then now today you roll in here for the 8 stages of gridiron-related grief. And you're contemplating your football-loving existence. And that's all come full circle. And we're happy to have been part of that. We really are, because that stray Jordan Love caught, I mean, it needed to happen so that we could laugh together and we can cajole and we can have glee together. That's what we have right now. We have glee. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course.
We have glee. You've bounced back from the metaphorical L, and for that I give you covenant claps, young man. The chagrin on the countenance is mostly removed, and we believe the love covenant and hashtag Faith Radio had a little bit to do with that, because we like to make people laugh, even in some of their most uncomfortable moments. 10:21, Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, about 40 minutes from now. Time to give away some money right now, and here comes Double B.
That's right, the cash thing. The Fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks in the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword bank for this hour. The keyword bank. KFAN.com. Keyword bank. The Fan welcomes some great shows to Grand Casino Arena in this coming year. Rascal Flatts will be there January 23rd. Eric Church, February 7th. Tickets are on sale now. You can complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page, KFAN.com, keyword calendar. KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Personal foul. Clipping.
In your face, Milwaukee! Kevin and Kwesi are speaking today at 11 o'clock from Twin Cities Orthopedic Performance Center. Might be talking about some free agency.
Free agency never fails on the Kwesi train. Free agency never fails on the Kwesi train.
Maybe they'll mix in some hockey.
Let's play hockey!
Of course, we'll carry it because football always wins. And these are the leaders of the state's most popular team, the Minnesota Vikings, or to attempt to achieve the impossibility of channeling my inner Alan Roach, the Vox of all Voxes ever to Vox. The state's most popular team, your Minnesota Vikings. You know, that's the group that never has won a Super Bowl. Through 65 seasons. That's... Yeah.
You gotta be raping me!
I don't know what the heck was going on in my mind when I crafted that thing that way.
Rube.
Holy cow. Now, I need the 7 stages of football-related grief. Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings, the group that never has won a Super Bowl through 65 seasons and haven't won a playoff game before we were ordered to run to the hills to find toilet paper, facial coverings, and to make sure we wash our hands for at least 20 seconds.
I always love that one.
What do the scribes and media members have up their tattered sleeves for the bosses coming up about 30 minutes from now? Kwesi and Kevin and Kwesi. Let's see. What's going to be part of this press conference at 11 o'clock? It's a season closer and an off-season beginner. How about B-Flow, McCarthy's off-season? Naylor's future, which big names are you going to release? What's next for Dallas Turner if Van Ginkel and Grenard are healthy? And how much money did Eric Wilson just earn himself, having more tackles for loss than any inside linebacker in the National Football League year of our Lord 2025? Those are some potential questions coming at the bosses today. Maybe some Darisaw questions about the left tackle's knee, the weekly frustration, not knowing whether he was in or out. And did Juergens play well enough to become the starting center next season? Maybe, quote, hey, you guys are very good at free agency, but don't have any money. So how do you handle that?
I always love that one.
Can you finagle your way to Kirk Cousins, and does he have to be the starter for him to join Kirk O'Chains? Anybody going to hit the bosses with those questions? How about, does a full off season with Carson Wentz solve your veteran backup quarterback situation? By the way, let the record show I'm a fan of that. Wentz, the 2 behind the kid. Do you guys think Matt LaFleur should get a contract extension? Oh, wait, wrong press conference.
I always love that one.
What happened?
Jim is
What happened? Where'd that come from? What happened?
Where's Lynn Jones when you need her?
Double B caught a stray right there. It's all part of the process, which is well thought out. You're smiling. You're back at it. You're laughing and smiling again. That's what we were looking for. That was the goal. Your girlfriend can thank me later for bringing back the happiness and the giddiness and the free-spirited nature of your football-loving soul. Okay, Double B?
She played therapist for a long time Saturday night. That's for sure.
Really? Well, she did an awful job, given how you rolled in here, yelling at account executives, Kara and Nick, because you're never part of the social media stuff. Yeah, so anyway, she might want to reevaluate her lot in life, too, and get on the therapeutic Davenport of love. Anyway, this is a Minnesota Vikings press conference preview, okay? It has nothing to do with the green and gold. I don't know how that person got into this script that says, do you guys think Matt LaFleur should get a contract extension? Oh, wait, wrong presser. My guess, when this thing begins in 30 minutes, my guess is they'll start explaining the delay in the season closing presser and that it was due to newsy things that took place in Minneapolis last week. I understand that. Then they'll voice their frustration with not making the playoffs and just how hard it is watching others have fun and have fun on the dance floor as we lean up against the wall, awaiting a partner. Some more potential questions. Is sweating McCarthy's play leave first season at the helm going to be permanent? Huh? Is McCarthy's play leave, is that going to be permanent with games at U.S. Bank Stadium?
Thank you, Minneapolis.
We're really, really hoping it's not permanent. And at that point, O'Connell will become frustrated with the questions and he'll divert the attention to the Minnesota Wild.
Let's play hockey!
Guys, was Javon Hargrave worth the money? Don't kill the messenger. I'm previewing potential questions, and I'm the messenger. Was Javon Hargrave worth the money? Is it possible to give Will Reichert a lifetime deal, guys? Possible to give Will Riker, the best kicker in the NFL, don't at me, a lifetime deal? Hey, guys, how much does Aaron Jones have left in the tank? He's a tough guy, but he's in the second half of his career. How much does he, showtime, how much does he have left in the tank? Guys, with the combine coming up here relatively soon, how many times do you think you're going to dine at St. Elmo's in the fighting city of Indianapolis? What? Yeah, I know they lost to the Devils, Kevin.
Let's play hockey!
If you stop Duvernay's kick, do you make the playoffs? If you stop Duvernay's kick return, do you make the playoffs, guys? Hey, guys, are you rooting for or against Sam this weekend? Hey, guys, are you rooting for or against Sam Darnold? Sam, the man who used to be on the Fan this weekend. Guys, are you even able to watch Drake May play football? If reports are accurate that Minnesota went as hard as one can go to get that draft spot from New England 2 drafts ago to select the Tar Heel, if that's accurate, do you harbor ill will that you were told no?
It's time to drop the puck.
Guys, does Hawkinson have to cut his pay? Is Hitman done for sure? If you're Brian Flores, would you really want to deal with that ratty Vegas ordeal? Press conference 11 o'clock. The bosses, general manager, head coach, general manager. Brett's Bits and Bets are next. Then, said season closer, off-season beginner with Kwesi and Kevin. And your talkbacks follow that. Talkbacks, you know how that works. Free iHeart audio app. 30 seconds to formulate an opinion, offer up a comment, crack wise. Talkbacks after the presser. And with the talkbacks there, you can line up your preferred offseason plan for the Minnesota Vikings, a team in search of its first playoff win since right before we were relegated to our homes. Everybody's hair grew longer because barbershops and salons were closed, and finding a single toilet paper square was akin to hitting the Powerball. Be right back.
Yeah, but
you don't know what to say, right? Well, that generally happens during the 7 stages of gridiron-related grief. You look at the set list, everything's laid out pretty pragmatically, pretty much in detailed fashion. That's how I roll. And it says 10-4-5, which actually is 10-4-1. Brett's Bits and Bets. You took San Francisco last week / beat me again. 10:54 mandatory break. If this segment, if I can't find Anthony Barr, then this segment might move to 12:20 unless I preview the presser. So I think what that means right there is part of it's not shock, it's not denial, it's acceptance. It's acceptance and hoping. I accept that this is when I come in and guide a segment, and the hope is Paul lets me talk more than he generally lets anybody else talk. So that it's Brett's Bits and Bets, courtesy of Canterbury Park and CanterburyPark.com. Canterbury Park, where the people come to play. Canterbury Park, where it's summer every day. Horses sing. 2026, live racing in May. Kentucky Derby preps. Weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend this time of the year. Getting ready for the first Saturday in May and the Kentucky Derby. Thank you, Canterbury Park. Thank you, CanterburyPark.com. Brett Blakemore is producing 9 to noon today. And we have Brett's Bits and Bets, and we begin with the bits, and here's how we begin.
Number 1.
The Wild. I was at the game instead of watching the Steelers, and
Wow, you went.
I went
For
the
Hughes bit.
Well, I went for the Hughes family reunion, and this is normally the time in the show where I play a Wild highlight that explains.
Hold on, sauce is all over me. 3-2. Oh yeah, look yeah,
Puppy.
Okay, go ahead.
and puppies. I don't have one because there wasn't a highlight to play.
It was one. I was into the football mode and crafting 9 to noon. It was 1-0 Devils, and then I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then it was 2-1 Devils, and then I was out. And then I came back, man, it was 4-1 Devils. I mean, it's anyway, go ahead. These are Brett's bits, not Paulie's prattle.
I was trying to find It's Time to Drop, or Let's Play Hockey from KOC that entire time. I don't know where he put it. But anyways.
What are you talking about,
Where is
man?
it?
Well, at 3-2.
Let's play
Thank you.
hockey.
I wish the team got fired up that much. I actually thought in the first period, well, really the first two periods, despite the shot disparity, I thought it was a matter of time till the Wild got one. Hughes hit a post. I think Hartman hit a post as well. They were getting good in-zone possession time.
Yeah.
But then calamity strikes at the end of the second period where you're holding on, you're trying to get into the third 1-1, and the puck goes to Foligno, who has all the time in the world to either skate it out of the zone, ice it, get rid of it. What he does instead is he flips it up almost like a Ryan Wright punt.
Wow.
Which immediately gets...
So it was like Abby Murphy before she put it through the legs of the adversary and passed for a nice goal.
Yes. The problem is the Devils immediately caught it, sent it right back into the zone, and they scored in the dying seconds of the second period to make it 2-1, and it just felt like there was never a chance in the third. I don't know if it's a maturity, like, we didn't have it in the third, but it got ugly fast. So it was an ugly, ugly Wild game to be at, where about half the arena was gone about midway through the third period.
Would you agree that sometimes saying, I don't know what happened, or I don't know what went wrong, as opposed to maybe it's maturity? Just think about that. I mean, just it's because
am I ripping too much?
Well, because no, it's not ripping too much, but it requires explanation and or context. When you, at least in my opinion, I'm a big context guy. When somebody offers up something like, maybe they're immature. Okay, well, I'd like to hear more about that. Like, what goes into that? Like, immature as in they're snot-nosed kids. They haven't played together enough with Quinnesota, stuff like that. I understand. But it sounds to me like you don't have any idea what happened in that third period. And I didn't watch. So therefore, that means both of us have no idea of what happened in that third period. But I did listen to some of John Hines' press conference following the game, and he didn't dagger anything that was like, hey, in the third period, here's what went pear-shaped. But what I did like one thing he said. And I don't know when the next game is against the New Jersey Devils, but John Hines had this to say about the upcoming match against the Devils whenever we meet.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Hey, slowing down Scott Stevens and Ilya Kovalchuk, that ain't easy, man. That ain't easy. Marty B between the pipes. That's a good Devil squad there, man. They put their breezers on the same way everybody else does. Seriously, are the Devils good? Because I know the Devils had beaten the Wild like 5 or 6 consecutive times into that game last night, so now it's like 6 or 7. But is the Devils good?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I know they lost something like 8 of their last 9. They're plummeting, free-falling right now.
And they were on a back-to-back. But they were on a back-to-back. They lost to the Peg on Sunday. But Commissioner Bettman made that like a noon or 1 game. So therefore, they probably were bedded down in the Twin Cities at a reasonable time. So let me get this straight. They'd lost 8 of 9, according to you. They're on
something like that.
They're on a back-to-back. They no longer compensate Ilya Kovalchuk. And then they roll in here and win by like 5 goals. Damn!
Yeah, it sucks.
See,
fun.
But we were on a 2-week bender, man. We were on a 2-week road trip, So KG, Senor Spotty, super smart with hockey, super smart with spotting up. When he was on the 9 to noon show last week, the day of the Kraken game, he laid it out pretty well, where he's like, because of the done hit on Zuki the last time we were here, because when you're in like the 7th or 8th game at the end of 2 weeks away from the Covenant, where you're on the road for 2 weeks, I mean, A, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I'm a big fan of that. B, for those who have small kids, I just can't imagine the amount of FaceTimes that they faced with the but babe terrorism. But babe, but babe, but babe, but babe, but babe, but babe. So that just wears a brother down right there. So there's that from a distraction factor standpoint. But Senor Spotty laid it out nicely. Guaranteed a victory over the Kraken because I thought it was a human nature game, end of a road trip. You're looking forward to getting back home. But babe, when are you coming? But babe, are you ever coming home? But I forgot about the done bit. He laid it out nicely. And then he said, I'm really concerned about that Islanders game. And I got no idea which way it's going to go. But the first off a super long road trip, let's put it this way, Paul, I'm very concerned. Lo and behold, they lost to the Islanders. I mean, Senor Spotty saw that thing super clearly. Okay, so then you settle in and you get to the next one, which was last night. Losing is one thing, getting crushed is another.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go double B on it and say they lack maturity. Why? Because I have a Vox in the Box Thursday, and I'm gonna be eye to eye, eyebrow to eyebrows, and chin to chins with the head coach of the Minnesota Wild less than 48 hours from now. So I can't wait to get there and see what's going on with our first Vox in the Box for the 25-26 season. And they hooked the Winnipeg Jets. That's Thursday, 9 to noon, Vox in the Box from Tria. Better luck next time, amigos.
Number 2.
There are a couple of these today.
Border battle.
And they're both in the Hoops Covenants. The Badgers are going to the Barn tonight. You'll hear that right here on the Fan at 6. And your Timberwolves, they go across the border to take on the Bucks, who are 17-22. We'll talk about the Wolves coming off a dramatic 1-point victory over Wemby and the Spurs. Where are you at? Where's your temperature for this Wolves club?
Bro, I'm an elite basketball mind, so I'm going to lay it out for you. The Wisconsin Badgers, Scotty, beloved Bucky, just beat ranked Michigan and did so at Breslin. Ooh! Hear me when I tell you that. When you head on the road, considered or not considered anything significant by anybody, and you go to Breslin, and I think they were ranked number 2 in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, and Scotty beat them. I mean, there are myriad ways to look at that, but I'm going to choose to look at it like this. There's only one way to go, and that's down.
L.
So they're at Williams tonight. Nico Medved, Roseville High School, has listened to 9 to noon or 10 to 1 just for fun, and is a fan of the Vikings radio/audio networks. I'm all of a sudden a big Nico Medved fan. So go Sky U-Ma tonight. Go Sky U-Ma. From an NBA standpoint, for the Timberwolves, they may be in the belly of the beast tonight, and here's why. Rudy Gobert is not going to play. He's suspended. We had too many flagrant fouls. No. Very bad, Rudy. Too many flagrant fouls. So he's not going to play tonight. He's suspended. Anthony Edwards, I believe, already has been scratched with I don't know if it's load management, but it's some kind of knee soreness thing. I think I read yesterday that he's not going to play tonight. So I don't believe beloved Ant's going to play tonight. So if you're down Ant, you're down Stifle, and you're going against Giannis, that's a handful. Now, the Wolves can win the game because the Bucks ain't that great. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they got a former Indiana Pacer veteran who was very good in the NBA Finals last year, even though they didn't win. His name is Miles Turner, and he's their center. Well, Miles Turner is questionable to play tonight because he has an illness. So therefore, that may, to a certain extent, even some things out this evening. But border battle basketball is fantastic. Which one's on the Fan?
The Gophers.
Gophers on the Fan over the
Yes,
wall?
sir.
Hey, okay. Hey, Sky U-Ma, Williams Arena, Sky U-Ma. All right, that's cool, man. Wolves on the dedicated Wolves channel on the iHeart Audio app.
Number 3.
We got one more, and then I'll get to my bet.
Yeah.
Flores, in the last hour, has been in the Twitter sphere.
Yep.
The Washington Commanders want to interview Flores, or have requested him for defensive coordinator. Again, my 2 cents on it is I don't think Flores takes a lateral move to anywhere. Dallas, for a DC spot, maybe he would, but I don't think he would. Yep. And I'm sure Minnesota would want him back. The defense is unbelievable.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think he would not do that? Again, I'm context guy.
He's already got his guys here, and he's had success defensively here.
I really would have liked to hear you say better team than Washington.
Well, they are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was in need of the 7 stages of overcoming gridiron grief after the strays I was catching there.
Last year, that team went to the NFC Championship game, but they looked like a shadow of their former selves. Mm-hmm. And they had injuries, and Jaden couldn't stay on the field, and yada, yada. But still, I just think...
Ain't no B-flow going to Washington, all right?
Yeah.
The Bobby Wagner is 1,000,000 years old, right at the end of his career. He's the bomb. I'm a huge Bobby Wagner fan. He's going to the Hall of Fame. They have the oldest defense that I've ever come across, maybe in my near quarter century boxing Vikings football. When putting together the game calling depth chart for that game, 31-0 Vikings, you had Bobby Wagner here in like his 16th year. Von Miller was in like his 18th year. And Frankie Louvu's been around you just got a bunch of players for that team. Deron Payne's been around forever. It's just an old team. Now, the only way, if those reports are accurate, the only way Brian Flores can be interviewing for lateral moves means his contract is up with the Minnesota Vikings. Which, if that's the case, then he can do things like this and create leverage. I got to believe the Vikings, this is me speculating, the Vikings have a deal in front of him, and he's opting to either increase it or find something that's better in a better situation. I don't think he'll become a head coach, and I do think he'll return here. So that's it for Flores.
Real quick, Beck, because we got to get to break.
Yep.
I like riding the Niners even more, without Kittle.
I got to praise you, even if we're late for the opening salvo.
Okay.
This Brett's Bets thing that I created this summer, holy cow, I need to take a long look in the mirror here. I've worked in the horse racing business for more than 3 decades, and this kid kills me on bets every single time we talk about it. I got a lot of respect for that because I was like championing the Philadelphia Eagles over the weekend. Oh, let's get to Brett's Bets. Comes right in and says, I like the Niners on the money line. Really? Not just, you don't need the 5.5. You just take them straight up to win. And he said, yeah. And they won. You're uncanny how good you are at this. Take your time.
Why don't you give me half the money you were going to
I understand
bet.
that.
We'll go out
you
there.
snot-nosed Blake Moore biatch.
I got it right. I do like the Niners again. Even
I just gave your girlfriend a new nickname for you.
What's that?
Snot-nosed Blake Moore biatch. She's a terrible therapist.
I'll hear that one later.
Good.
I still like the 49ers. I don't think they'll win this week. I'm going to cool down on that. But 7.5 points in Seattle, that's a lot of points.
Can't argue with you.
And Darnold in the playoffs, we've seen it in this market. He's not as reliable he is in the regular season, so he'll make a mistake somewhere. I still think Seattle wins the game, but 7.5, that's a lot of points.
Well done, Brett's Bets and Bits, courtesy of Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Out to Eagan, Minnesota for the Minnesota Vikings season closing and off-season beginning. Press conference with KO and Kwesi next on KFAN.